Hello, it is Wednesday already. Happy Wednesday. I missed you all on Monday, but here we are. And today I am going to be talking about, I think what might be one of my favorite lab indicators, and that is HOMA-IR. So HOMA-IR stands for Homeostatic Model Assessment of Insulin Resistance. And this is kind of like a crystal ball into your health. So what you do, HOMA-IR is more of a calculation and not necessarily a number. You take your fasting blood sugar, multiply it by your fasting insulin, and you multiply it by the constant number of 405. And this gives you your HOMA-IR. And this tells you your insulin resistance status, basically. I like this number to be between 1 and 1.9. So that's the sweet spot. Anything higher and you are insulin resistant. So, and again, I've said this many times that a fasting insulin level of 6, keeping in mind that I believe 26 or 27 is considered the high end of normal. But an insulin level at 6 it's the start of insulin resistance. And if you're struggling to lose that pesky weight and it just like your weight won't budge, most likely your fasting insulin number is above 6. Now, this little number that you can calculate is such a good metabolic marker, not only for gut health, metabolic health, hormone health, and anti-aging. So we'll talk about that anti-aging part in a second. So as far as the gut part of it, chronically high insulin levels promote inflammation, which damages the gut lining. It's all about inflammation. Insulin and blood sugar, highly inflammatory. Insulin resistance, that fasting insulin number above 6, totally changes the microbiome diversity in your gut. So your gut is full of a whole bunch of different bacteria. It's very diverse, all kinds of good ones, and your insulin being elevated with the blood sugar issues, it feeds the bad bacteria. So I love the analogy of Little Shop of Horrors, that big Venus flytrap yelling, "Feed me, feed me." That's the bad bacteria in your gut, and it thrives on the imbalance of blood sugar and insulin. Then let's talk about the hormone imbalance, because if your gut's imbalanced, your hormones are totally disrupted, you have poor nutrient absorption, and it's just a vicious cycle. So you need to get out of that cycle. Now, as far as insulin and your metabolism goes, insulin resistance causes weight loss resistance. So a high insulin just shuts off your fat loss. And again, we're starting at as low as 6. Turns your body into storage mode, not burn mode. And it makes it so difficult to lose weight. Blood sugar swings cause cravings, snacking, and reactive eating. So we don't want that. We need to shut that all down. Insulin resistance also increases estrogen dominance, and it reduces progesterone. That imbalance increases cortisol, which again just fuels the entire cycle. So now let's talk about PCOS, thyroid dysfunction, adrenal fatigue, and adrenal burnout. This all perpetuates, and it's just fuel to the fire. Increased insulin also accelerates menopause symptoms and totally disrupts your sleep. Hi, Kim. So now let's talk about, I mentioned the HOMA-IR and your telomeres. Now, your telomeres are the end caps of your DNA. And when they get shortened, it shortens your lifespan. So when we're talking anti-aging and longevity, we want telomeres to be healthy and a good length. So think about your telomeres as the ends of a shoelace. You know, that has the little plastic cap on it. It gets through your shoes really easily without a problem, slides right in. When they start to get beat down and that little plastic end cap falls off and it gets frayed, that is the end of your telomere, telling you that you are not healthy. So think about it like this: longer health span, longer telomeres. Insulin resistance is linked to shorter lifespan, meaning faster cellular aging and increased risk of chronic disease. So what is the best way to lower our insulin? Get rid of the sugar, anything that turns into sugar. Do I sound like a broken record yet? And there are lots of workarounds, right? Allulose, my absolute favorite. Believe me, I do not miss any snacks or anything because I have plenty of workarounds. And if you ever catch me on Foodie Friday, I am always making snacks, usually something with chocolate in it. There's always a healthier version. And hey, Dwayne, and in my opinion, you know, we were away this weekend and, you know, on a golf course. So of course my diet was not perfect. My body felt it, and it wasn't even that long. You start feeding your body good, healthy food and it starts craving it. It's amazing how you just, you know, you get out of that cycle of the highs and the lows and just needing more. So I'm going to leave you with 3 quick practical steps to lower the HOMA-IR score and get those nice, healthy, long telomeres, right? So you live longer. Prioritize protein and do something that we call protein pacing. That is having 30 grams of protein 3 times a day, evenly spaced apart. Protein reduces insulin spikes, balances blood sugar, and promotes muscle retention. Muscle is longevity. Muscle is youth. The way you're getting that is protein, protein, protein. It's hard to get 100 grams of protein a day, and that is the minimum amount that you need. If you weigh more, you need more. So protein forward every meal. Good little sneak trick. If you like coffee in the morning, throw some collagen, throw some protein powder in there. You're decreasing your cortisol surge by adding protein to the caffeine in your coffee. And it's a great way to sneak in 20 grams of protein. Move after meals. 10 to 15 minutes of moving, just walking after every meal, literally acts as a sponge for the glucose and insulin in your muscles. And here's where you can use fasting in kind of an interesting way. 12 hours helps your liver get rid of any of the stored glycogen. So 12 to 14 hours overnight. Anything over 12 hours gives you a benefit, and really 12 hours is pretty easy, and your body's really not getting hangry when you're doing that. An optional way, and this is probably a little bit easier for guys because women, with hormone issues and things like that, fasting, I like to have the discussion about fasting. Is it worth it or not? You have to kind of listen to your body. Intuition tells you so much. So you can do 1 to 2 days of non-consecutive days. So do like, I don't know, Monday and Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday. It is mimicking meals, fasting mimicking meals. And this can help you, as far as the anti-aging goes, it can help you drive down the insulin resistance and help with the telomere length. And that pretty much is just eating a very low calorie amount, like 500 to 700 calories in a 24-hour period. And you do this over the course of the day. So you just have 3 really, really small meals. Like, for example, in the morning, have like a small handful of macadamia nuts, some herbal tea with MTC oil in it. So you get the ketones and the fat from the oil and the nuts, and you get a little bit of protein. Afternoon, lunchtime, some veggies, olive oil or avocado oil again, and then some bone broth and cooked greens. Dinner, roasted cauliflower, some olives, and then a magnesium supplement, your magnesium glycinate before bed. That will help you not have the cortisol surges as much as a full day of fasting will. So you kind of get the benefit. It's almost like a little cheat. It's enough food to kind of keep the adrenals happy, but also not enough food to drive up the insulin surge. So keep it simple. Sugar is not your friend, especially as we get older. Healthy belly is a happy, healthy life. So I will see you all Friday morning for Foodie Friday. I have no idea what I'm making yet, but stay tuned, because it's going to be something selfish that I'm going to want to have for the weekend. Oh, and by the way, if you saw my last week's Foodie Friday, those chocolate glazed nuts I made turned out pretty good. I enjoyed them all weekend on the golf course. Have a good one.